right, we're here at Aftershock, day number 2, talking to the guys from Starset, Dustin and Ron. Appreciate you guys coming out. I appreciate it even more when I was looking at your tour schedule and realized I knew you played last night because we had some fans at the radio station. We did a tour bus to go see the Hailstorm and Starset show at Slow last night, so we knew we had fans there. And then I realized you played the House of Blues in Anaheim the night before that, too. Yep. So this is day 3, and you had to play an afternoon show. How are you guys feeling today?
Not too bad considering.
What was it called? After brunch?
I called it after brunch.
After brunch, that's about right.
Lunch, yeah.
How do you deal with that kind of thing? Your show. I mean, to be able to put something together and be able to be on stage that often has got to be exhausting. How do you do that?
It's about a team, a great team, and an attention to efficiency, process, and detail.
And then for you, I mean, when you got to wear the suit in the middle of the day, how is that? I mean, Dustin gets the best of it. The sun's out, it's cool. I don't got a suit. You got to be out there playing with a suit on.
It looked hot. It wasn't hot. It was actually a nice day. I liked it. It wasn't bad.
The albums that you guys put together, when you come up with a theme, obviously, what's the thought process in doing that kind of thing?
So there's an overarching sci-fi and science element to the band and the Starset Society, which we were a part of, and the records are soundtracks to elements of that narrative. And so Transmissions and then now Vessels, they were soundtracks to associated narratives, and it's just an attempt to create that soundtrack with the various tools, and like I sort of think of ahead as to which sonic elements I sort of want to go for, and how I want to use the electronics, and how I want to use the strings, and to create a different, sounding record, but still similar. It's more like a laboratory than a band.
How long does it take you to put something like that together? Because I would imagine when I listen to what you guys are doing, and I know, like I said, with what goes into the ideas behind what you're doing, it can't just be, well, we're in Tulare this week and we got a down night, I'm going to write a song. Like that can't be the way it works. So what's the process?
There's an overarching maybe narrative and vibe, and then there's on the last record I wrote a huge document as to the sonics and the way that especially electronics would be used deliberately and elements of EDM and such, and then you start to work on music and get some tracks going, and once start to pinpoint sort of those sonic goals, then it's about creating melodies oftentimes, and then a concept to a specific song, and then that runs into lyrics. And a lot of times I'll drive 12 hours to get the lyric, or go on hikes.
Yeah, I can imagine. I would imagine, like, when you're playing shows that you guys, people are buying dedicated tickets to see you guys. You guys have a show at a club somewhere and people coming out. You know what that fan base is like. They know what they're in for the show. When you're playing a festival like you did today, what's that like prepping for that? Because you have an opportunity to, you're playing in front of some people who don't know who you are necessarily, and it's an opportunity to build a bigger fan base. Is that something you guys are cognizant of? Do you think about that beforehand? Do you talk about that?
Yes, it's like an audition many times. Now, when you play as early as we did today, those people had to come out to see us. Yeah. So it's a different dynamic today. When you see the place fill up at 1 p.m., they didn't, it wasn't some band that, there weren't bands before us, essentially. So this is really amazing because you're getting to see how much pull you're building towards in a city. But it's also amazing to play when you play a little later and you're exposing the band to new fans and you try to win them over, and it's a bit of a challenge when you wear spacesuits. People want to question that, and it's always amazing to take it from people not knowing you to fans in the span of 40 minutes.
The other thing, too, is when you play shows like this and there are other bands that are going to be on the bill, and I know you guys are busy. I mentioned you already played 3 shows coming in. I think you're off tomorrow, and then you got another show on Tuesday. So you guys you're focused on what you have to do to put on the show you want for your fans. But do you get an opportunity to sit back and go, well, we play early today, so I'd like to check out, Ozzy's on tonight, Trent was on last night with Nine Inch Nails, just to give you a reference. Do you ever play shows you go, man, I hope I get to see this guy?
We try to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we've had a down moment until after
I wouldn't.
this, so,
I wouldn't imagine.
That's usually how festivals go, but we try to.
We saw Ozzy a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
9 Inch Nails would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I was bummed when we weren't put on that day, but
I'm sorry I brought that up, but I think about what Trent does and what his sound is like and what you guys do. Not that it's the same thing, but I would imagine that there's some kind of...
Why would you ever put us on the same day? That's crazy.
I was like, that's got to be something that's weird. Let me ask you about the comic book, the Prox transmissions. And did you write that?
Yeah.
Now, this is going to sound kind of weird, but someone gave that to me before I realized that was even involved with your band. I'm a big comic book guy, too.
Nice.
I go to the shop every Wednesday when new books come out, and I had someone give that to me, and then realized, oh my gosh, this is the guy from the band that writes that. How did that even come to be? Like, how did Marvel pick that up, right? And Marvel putting that out. Tell me about the process and how that came and what that's all about.
It was a full-length novel that was put out early last year, and it tells the inception story of the Starset Society from a sort of a sci-fi bent. And around the same time as that novel coming out, I had a meeting with Marvel about some low-level music things, and started to talk about the Starset Society with them and the overarching narrative. And 2 meetings later, they offered a partnership. So
that's not bad. Did you find a way to get on one of them Avengers soundtracks?
No.
Well, it's really good. It's very interesting, and it's good that you have the backing of a company like that, too. So you got all kinds of avenues you're running down. I appreciate you guys' time today, like I said, especially considering I know you played 3 days in a row and you're only off tomorrow. I'm sure this is tiring. So thanks a lot for coming out, and I'm sure you guys, I missed your set because I was back here, so I'm sad about that. But
it's all good.
I'm sure you guys had a good time out there, and thanks for coming out.
Thank you. Man.